It's almost a cliche at this point, but change is inevitable, especially in today's market. But leading effective change is not an intuitive process. Some have cited data that says up to 70% of all change efforts in organizations fail because the organization's culture doesn't understand the need to change at all. One of the things you often find at the heart of successful transformations is a concept called the change story or burning platform. Maybe you've heard of it before, maybe you haven't, but let's talk about it and how it could potentially be applied to help your change or transformation efforts succeed. So what is a burning platform? First, let's break down what a burning platform means. The term actually originated from a true story of a oil rig back in the North Sea in the late 80s that exploded. And the explosion ended up causing a massive fire. Hundreds of men died, the largest number killed in an offshore accident. Eventually, 3 men made it to the edge of the platform and were faced with an unimaginable choice. They could either stay put, hoping for a rescue that might not come before the flames reached them, or they could jump into one of the coldest and roughest oceans in the world and also risk death from hypothermia. 2 of them decided to jump, and they survived, although badly injured. Sadly, the man who chose to stay behind did not make it because the helicopters weren't able to reach him in time. In business, we are not typically in life or death scenarios like I just described. We are safe in our offices and our conference rooms, but particularly in change management, a burning platform and showing exactly what is at stake in that urgent moment, it helps people see what is required and it leaves no room for complacency. Most of the time, in order for people to adopt a radical shift in behavior or routines, they have to feel it's both important and necessary. And unfortunately, this often involves creating a pain message. So what is the risk and what is at stake if you don't take this action? A change story is really just a metaphor for creating the necessity for change by highlighting and showing the risks of inaction. It's a story that really just says change now or face dire consequences. So how do you build a change story? People often ask me, what is the first step in the change management process? And my answer is always the same. You have to start by building your change story. This is key, and not just for raising awareness, but for creating genuine desire for the change and for easing the emotional stress that comes with it. So how do you create the framing story that pushes real change forward? Here's what you need to do. First, identify the urgent threats or opportunities. I usually begin by assessing what's at stake. Are you facing declining market share? Are there new competitive threats, technological shifts? You have to be really clear and explicit about the risks or the missed opportunities to make the urgency real. Don't treat every idea as a burning platform. I've seen some leaders try to create these do or die urgencies for every initiative, every idea. That just makes you lose credibility and focus, and you start to sound like the boy who cried wolf. So save it for those rare moments, like once in a career moment, when serious pain is going to be inevitable if the change does not happen. You have to explain what's at stake. Let's say that you are Blockbuster in the late 90s. So right now you're the leading home entertainment player, but you also can't ignore what's happening around you, right? I mean, competitors are catching up and fast. Take this new company, Netflix, for example. They're offering subscriptions for mail-in DVDs. It sounds niche, like almost easy to dismiss, right? But here's the thing, if we, as Blockbuster, don't adapt, what then? Will we still even be here in a few decades, or will we be a brand that people talk about in the past tense, like a relic of another time? That's what's at stake. This isn't just about incremental decreases in value, it's about the company's very survival. Paint a vivid picture of the future that is irresistible. Show what success will look like when everybody embraces the change, whether that's a thriving product line, regained market leadership, a stronger, more secure team. This vision should inspire excitement and it should inspire commitment. And here, share the facts openly. Transparency builds trust, which is crucial for motivating your team to take that leap with you. So if you think there will have to be layoffs or massive restructures, foreshadow that now. Otherwise, your teams may not trust whatever you have to say in the future. Part 3, how to talk about it to teams. So now that you've got your change story, how do you communicate it effectively? Here's how. Number one, start with empathy. Change can be really unsettling. So I always begin by acknowledging the challenges and fears that your team might have. Show that you understand their perspective. Explain the platform clearly. Share the change story with facts and relatable examples. You have to use head and heart, which is, logical arguments, but also emotional appeals. Paint a vision of the future. Describe exactly what success will look like and feel like if that change is embraced. This should be inspiring, but it also needs to be realistic. It should showcase benefits that would resonate with all levels of your team. So a bonus payout or an equity, exit might be really exciting to executives. It might not be as exciting to, folks who are on the front lines. Invite participation and feedback. Talk to your teams and ask for their input this should be a two-way conversation. What are they hearing on the production or factory floors? Is the story resonating, or are there barriers? Having a dialogue and an ongoing conversation with your people, it builds a sense of ownership and trust in the process. Reiterate and reinforce. Change is a process. It is not an event. You have to repeat your message until you're blue in the face through multiple different channels. That might be team meetings, emails, one-on-one check-ins, videos, Slacks. You have to make sure that the platform and the story is always top of mind. Okay, some closing thoughts. Remember, if you take nothing else away from this, a change story is not about creating fear for fear's sake. It is about motivating decisive action. And the hope is that by building and communicating this effectively, you turn uncertainty into opportunity and hesitation into commitment. You have to lead with empathy, you have to be clear, and you have to make sure that your team understands the why as much as they understand the what. Storytelling is such a powerful tool when it comes to change management. It has this sort of magical ability to really connect with people on an emotional level, which helps everybody understand the bigger picture, and it helps everybody move forward together. We've seen time and again how sharing the right story can make a huge difference in driving positive change in an organization. And when you tap into that power, you're not just, passing along information, you're actually inspiring, you're engaging people, you're motivating your team. And that's what helps make transitions smoother and more successful, especially during challenging times. So thanks for joining today. If you found this useful, please don't forget to like and share this video with your colleagues. Let's create change that matters and that, actually stands the test of time.